Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus, doing a little bit of modern content here, doing a little bit different spin on things. So, been looking for a way to get more content out there with the tighter schedule that I've been on, and with picking up, additionally, the Pioneer format content going on. So, this was an idea that I had brewing before the announcement of the Pioneer format, and I was actually going to get started on this past weekend. But the idea was to take my alternative account that is used for the playtest matches and some other stuff. And for those of you that have been around for a while, I used to have, it's still up, but there's an alternative YouTube account called Oblivion Zen Gaming. This is my Oblivion Zen Gaming account. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to go see how long we can go infinite for on Magic Online with one format, one deck. There's been different variations of people trying to go infinite, discussions of whether you can go infinite or not. This account is literally just going to be Modern Burn, trying to go infinite with a Burn deck. So Burn is one of the cheaper entry points into Modern. Obviously, the focus may start to move away from Modern for Wizards of the Coast, so this experiment may not be as useful as it once was, as Pioneer tends to pick up steam and stuff. But Modern is probably the premier Eternal format at the moment. Might soon be displaced by Pioneer, but has replaced Legacy as the primary premier format. And so wanted to see if it was possible to go quote-unquote infinite with a deck. I'm familiar with Burn. This channel has been mostly based around Burn the last couple years. So this is the deck we're kind of starting out with. This isn't necessarily my optimal build of Burn even, but this is a list to see if we can go infinite. To that end, what we're doing is we're starting out with 30 ticks and 45 play points from when I had used this account previously, but 30 ticks is what we're starting with. That's enough for entry fee into 3 leagues. See how far we can go infinite with this, and then beyond that, it's just kind of your typical Boros Burn list, not a whole lot fancy going on here. Have 3 Searing Blaze, 4 Skewer the Critics in this list, 2 Skullcracks in the main, no Grim Lavamancers, no fluff, nothing. It's just kind of straight Boros Burn, a little bit of sideboard stuff. 4 Path to Exile feels like a bit much in the current format, but that's kind of how we're rolling with this particular thing, because I don't have any of the extra cards. So any extra cards we're going to want to pick up, we're going to have to try to get out of our winnings. So this whole thing is to try to take a deck, invest in a deck, and continue to go infinite, much like a lot of people who are limited in what they can do on Magic Online. I'm a little bit unusual and a little bit blessed in that I subscribe to Mana Traders. I have the ability to borrow basically any cards that I want, hence how I'm able to do donation deck lists, the versus videos, etc. But I wanted to try something a little bit different for you guys' content. I know a lot of people get bored with the daily episodic things. I know Nikachu's tried it out, Day 2 Dryden's tried it out to varying success. I did a poll earlier on the channel. People are not in favor of doing single match content. They prefer the block content. But this is kind of a way to get more Burn content out there while also doing something a little bit differently with this quote-unquote infinite challenge. I have seen, I believe, there's been a couple attempts on YouTube, nothing real successful long-term, and there's been a series on MTG Goldfish, which is a little bit different in how they're trying to address the situation. They're trying to take like a budget deck and go infinite with that, but we're taking a modern deck, trying to go infinite with that and see what happens. And with that said, let's jump into the first match today. Back here for match number 1. Always nice to be on the play. Unfortunately, this hand is pretty clearly a mulligan. This hand is a keep, but a little bit riskier. The settings. There we go. Keep. The question becomes, what do we pitch here? Might just be Eidolon, honestly. Because we have a lot of 1-mana spells. Yeah, I think the put back might just be Eidolon here. Hope to kinda... Alright, well, looks like the Burn Mirror, so... Kind of a rough spot, be on the play, and then probably lose game 1 because we're stuck on lands, but let's see what our opponent does here. Some type of zoo deck. Alright. So just flat out gobos. Pass turn. I got attacks here. Unfortunately. Gobos is usually a pretty decent matchup, but getting stuck on one land and bottoming the Eidolon, although I guess it doesn't matter because we wouldn't be able to cast the Eidolon here anyway. So. Says we could have potentially attacked there. Be interesting to see what our opponent does here. It's like next turn we could Rift Bolt them, skewer something, attack. But definitely in a rough spot here. These two hold back these guys for now. Burning Tree is the only one that could potentially attack. It is flooding out a little bit. But with the Fiery Islets, they're a little less likely to flood out, so keeping in mind that Goblin Grenade can be a very problematic card. Devastating Summons. Yep, Devastating Summons into Bushwhacker. Gotta have a Bushwhacker, right? So if I go Skewer Your Face, Rift Bolt, so they have 8, 10, 11 power in play currently. Skewer puts them to 9, Rift Bolt puts them to 6, Boros Charm puts them to 2. If they attack with everything, they're dead. Because then Boros Charm plus Rift Bolt was +2 on the Swift Spear. Alternatively, I could skewer one of their guys. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to go face here. It's 10, 11 power currently. Alright, it's a wing and a prayer, but it's certainly possible. Attack with everything, you know you wanna. Alright, we're pretty much dead here, unfortunately. I'm gonna put them to 6 and then put them to 2. But there's no way for us to win here, unfortunately. Alright, so put them to 3. Yeah, not quite enough here, unfortunately. Alright, so Stirring Bloods are reasonable. Let's see what type of devastating. See what kind of. So do we bring in Smash just to try to play around whatchamacallit here? Dragon's Claws. I think I'm supposed to. There's such a terrible card in the matchup otherwise, but we're out a couple of these. Could bring in Path to Exile, but a lot of their deck just doesn't seem to warrant it. So this hand's pretty decent. Good to go. Goblin Guide into Blaze, which is nice. They have a Goblin Guide of their own. Interesting to see what they lead off on here. Probably lead off on... Nope, Goblin Guide, sure. Should have played Eidolon, potentially, but they have a Burning Tree turn this hand. We're going to really regret this, not playing out Eidolon this turn. Okay, sure. Wow. Alright. How many punts can I make? Apparently a lot. have a bolt. Do you have a bolt? Pass turn. Okay. That's annoying. So they're at 5. Can't bolt plus skewer, unfortunately. So we're just dead. Alright. Severe punting there a lot. So, anyways, on to match number 2. Not the most auspicious start for this series.